Okay, monkeys up, Hawk Daddy's up. Howdy y'all, this is Mykel Hawke, currently working on Travel Channel with a show called Lost Survivors. Me and my missus, Ruthie, Sergeant Major, get blindfolded, dropped off in the middle of nowhere, and then we got to read the terrain, the flora, the fauna, solve the mystery of where we are, and figure out how to navigate our way back out. That said, I got the wonderful fellas here with MIL-SPEC Monkey who are doing a quick interview for me, so I'm going to give you some updates, all right? First thing, I'm working here with Green Supply. They've been my best distributors, best supporters, and I've got about 30 different products that are out there. I'm really excited about it because this is my second generation. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to let you know what's coming out in third generation. So first and foremost, this thing's kind of a signature piece for me. It is probably the ugliest machete known to man, but what I love about it is it came from my little pea brain. I was fortunate enough to see it get made by the lovely folks at Condor down in El Salvador, and I have never used a better machete in all my life. Basically, because of the blade on the top, you clean on the downstroke and the upstroke, so it's half the energy. It's fantastic. I love that people write interviews and film interviews for me, and they start off and they're unsolicited and they say, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And by the time they're done chopping down redwoods and everything else in the neighborhood, they're like, man, that's the coolest thing I've ever used. That's all I can ask for. That said, going on to my urban everyday carry. This little baby here I call my little Sparrow Hawk, and basically I'm a special forces, medic, communication guy, intelligence guy, and then I came back in after 9/11 and did the officer thing. I know enlisted fellas, I jumped to the dark side, went off to Afghanistan and came back, and then ended up on TV, which is crazy all by itself. So, you know, I got to make these knives, and as a medic, the scariest thing to me was not a big old machete, but it's a little itty bitty scalpel, because it'll gut you and you won't even feel it, right? So I said, what else is scary? And it's a box cutter. So I said, why not make something that's like the mix of a scalpel and a box cutter? So I came up with this little bad boy, because it's almost a full handle, just enough where you can conceal it, pull it out, and it's got a blade that goes right up to the hilt. So both flanges, all blade. There's nowhere anyone's going to touch on this and come away unhappy without engaging you. So this is one of my favorite everyday carries for the urban environment. And then for my everyday carry in a field environment, I use this little Hawk Harrier Elite, mainly because people who live by the knife, when you're surviving, you're making your shelter, you're cleaning your food, them little muscles get tired. And then there's real chance for getting hurt by slipping forward on your folding blade. And what makes the difference between a folding blade and a fixed blade is a simple hand guard. So I just designed a hand guard so I don't lose my little fingers and I can keep on surviving. And you know, you cut them little fingers off out in the jungle, you're gonna get an infection, you're gonna be dead, so it's sad. So that said, this is my second generation. The third generation that we're coming out with, these little hand guards right now, they just fold down when you're done with them. The third generation, these are going to come out and they're going to lock out, so you press a detent to bring them back in. And what that means, it makes it from survival to tactical, because now you can use it for parrying without worrying about it come down when you're in a little knife fight. Hopefully you don't get a knife fight, hopefully you get a gun. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is all the co-branding stuff that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do. So I've been working with some of the big guys like 511 and Voodoo and MTM Special Ops watches, because they're able to take my retarded, out-of-the-box thinking and make it into reality. For example, I've been working with Voodoo Tactical for like 2 years on a boot. They say it's probably the hardest thing they've ever done, and it's a boot that will stop jungle rot. There's nothing like it out there. It's never been made before, but that's been the #1 problem for soldiers since World War I. I'm like, how do you solve it? So I come up with this idea of a conversion boot. ShotShow 2014, I put my eyes on the prototype, and it is a thing of beauty. We hope to have that in production in a couple more months. I'm very excited. I got to meet up with the man, the designer of MTM Special Ops watches. That's like high-end, $1,000, $1,500 watches. And we've been working for almost 3 years now to make a watch, a survival watch, that will do 8 different survival things, including 2 different ways of starting a fire and 2 different ways of even catching food for you. And that's a watch you want to have. So I know that that's a little bit expensive, a $1,000 survival watch, so I'm also making a more affordable $100 version for people to take out in the field and beat up and always have and actually use the thing. So things like that, getting to work with 511, making survival bags and aid bags, and working with another guy, Butch Tour, who makes $10,000 hats for the people on the movies Dallas. We've designed a hat that will do 16 different survival things, 2 in each of the 8 survival categories. So that's the kind of stuff that the Hawk brand's coming out with, which is the #1 thing I need to be talking about, because we're now changing it from just Mykel Hawke knives to the Hawk brand, which then allows me to expand and have Lady Hawke and Baby Hawke and Hawke family, as well as Hawke approved co-branding type things. So that's exciting stuff going on with the Hawke brand, and I thank you MIL-SPEC Monkey for taking some time to say hello. All right, I got the guy right down here. I twisted him up. He doesn't know it, but I'm talking about some of my charities that I'm involved with. One is the Green Beret Foundation. They kind of step in where the system fails to deliver and take care of the fallen warriors and their families. I'm also a member of the Special Forces Association. Big old 10 means I've been in over 10 years. Those guys are always trying to help out the special operations guys and their families. And of course, I got to give a shout out to Travel Channel because they've been wonderful people to work with, and Green Supply because they've been the biggest supporter of the Hawke brand. And again, thank you guys at MIL-SPEC Monkey. Y'all rock.